everyone. I'm Adam Brown, and this is Shell Point Today for Wednesday, July 9th. On today's show, we're hearing about hearing. Jack Adams will tell us about L.A.C.E, listening and communication enhancement. And resident Ann Chatfield will show us her extensive collection of dolls. But first, we want to remind you of some important events happening today. Pat Specht will be leading an academy class called Sing, Sing, Sing. Now, you might want to get your singing in with Pat because due to the death of a close friend, Pastor Randy Woods will not be able to lead the choral workshop that was planned for tomorrow. So please note that Sing Through the Summer has been canceled for tomorrow, Thursday the 10th. Also today, those of you who own iPads may want to take advantage of the iPad walk-in clinic in the Computer Teaching Center on the island. It will be happening from 10:15 until 11:45, and Penny Modrich is here to tell you all about it.
Hello everyone, I am here today with Penny Modrich of Nautilus, more commonly known as the lady with the iPad. Thanks for joining me, Penny.
Well, thank you for inviting me, Terry.
We can't think of iPads without thinking about Penny Modrich.
Thank you.
By popular demand, T3 is proud to announce the return of the iPad clinic. I love how you say, just like a medical urgent care center.
Exactly. Oh. That's the way they should think of it. It's not a class. You're not going to come in and sit there and be instructed or lectured to, or even a total class of how to do something. It's going to be for those who have a problem, a question, and they want to come in and just talk to a person, get an answer, and go home.
And urgent is really a good word for this, because when you're learning how to use an iPad and you can't do what you want to do, you want to know now. You don't want to wait until next week or next month or next semester.
Sometimes that's all it takes is one question. You say, okay, now I can go on from there, and because I know how to do something else, but that was the one thing I was stuck on. Get an answer, go home, and enjoy your iPad.
That's wonderful. Now, again, taking a rest. This is Penny Modrich resting. Every single Wednesday in July, you're going to do a clinic. How are you going to handle that? Are you going to do it all by yourself?
Oh, heavens no. I'm going to have assistants, as I did last year. I had 6 to 8 of them who would come in and be very happy to go one-on-one with the resident, and then if they could not solve their problem or had further questions, they were either referred to me, or we could even just refer them to Apple company, just to the store, so that they could get an answer. We just want to help them get an answer, because you shouldn't feel frustrated. You have the world in your hands in an iPad. You really do. You know that.
That is so true.
And it's frustrating if you just are stuck in one spot and you need to go on from there. And that's why I want to do that.
Well, I think probably, I'm sure that part of the reason why Penny Modrich is such a happy, generous person and loves what she does is because you really know how much you do for people.
Well,
that's wonderful.
I try my best.
That's great.
We do everything we can.
Thanks so much.
Thank you, Terry.
I hope you take a look at page 43 in the Academy of Lifelong Learning, or look at every weekly reminder on Wednesday, and you will see this urgent care free walk-in clinic with your Apple iPad. Come with the question, leave with an answer.
Again, that is happening from 10:15 until 11:45 today in the Computer Teaching Center in the Island Tunnel. L.A.C.E stands for Listening and Communication Enhancement. Jack Adams is here to tell us about a system that just might help you increase the enjoyment you get from communicating with your friends and loved ones.
I'm Mary Franklin, here today with Jack Adams from Audiology Consultants of Southwest Florida, and also one of our specialists that come to the Arbor Medical Center. He is here today to talk about a new program that he is offering, L.A.C.E, Listening and Communication Enhancement. His program will take place on Wednesday, July 16th at 1:15 p.m. in the Social Center. Welcome back, Jack.
My pleasure, always.
Well, you have an interesting program here. I'm comparing it almost to personal training for the muscle or brain fitness exercises that we all do. L.A.C.E is for your ears. Explain this to us.
Exactly. I have given presentations here before and always talked about how hearing aids can only be part of the problem. And this even takes that to a new level, because it's not only for people that have hearing loss, it's for anyone that feels that they are having problems with communication. Situations where there's a lot of background noise or people that talk rapidly, those are two situations that people oftentimes find difficulty understanding, whether it's grandchildren or their spouse or in a restaurant or whatever the case may be. When you have those sorts of problems associated with listening and understanding, it has to do more oftentimes with our processing of information than it does actually a hearing loss per se. So this is a computerized program, and I don't want to scare people by using the term computerized, because it's very simplistic, and you can do it in your home.
Okay.
I'm also hoping to try to set it up through the computer club, and maybe do another presentation through the computer college on this program. But it's basically listening exercises. So your comparison is a very good one, because it gives the individual an opportunity to listen to different situations, different degrees of difficulty in terms of understanding and listening, and they set their own progress based on their own pace. So if you're presented with an exercise with speech in a background of noise, and you don't do well, then it'll make the task easier.
Right.
If you do really well, then it'll make the next task more difficult.
Right. Okay.
So it goes through a series of opportunities to try listening in more and more difficult situations to build those skills.
Okay. Very similar to brain fitness computer sessions that are out there that you can do. And it really goes back to that old adage, use it or lose it.
Yes, and that is very important, and that's why I tell people all the time, if they have a hearing loss, to try to do something about it as soon as possible, because that theory is very, very true. And there's been many studies that have been done that show that if you do not keep the ear stimulated, you do lose some of that auditory function. But this even takes that to another level in terms of the total cognitive aspect of listening and attention. And I hear from my patients all the time, you know, I can hear, but I don't understand. And this helps that understanding aspect by giving people an opportunity to really train themselves in more and more difficult scenarios to try to improve those listening skills.
Okay. Well, what if someone wanted to purchase this program for their computer? They should give you a call and you would set that up for them and give them the information?
Yes, I would like them to call my office, and I can have an appointment with them at the Arbor just to discuss the problems that they have. I do have a computer at the Arbor in my office when I do see patients, and so I can go through with them the initial, setup of this. I'm also going to be doing that at the presentation, so people will have a foundation that it's, like I say, it's really quite simplistic.
Right.
And if they don't have a personal computer, hopefully we can find a computer here at Shell Point that they would have access to it, or they can work from their home in their own computer at their own pace.
Okay. Is it good? Can you put it on your iPad or anything?
You can put it on iPad, you can put it on your computer, you can put it on any
device.
Any type of device, yes.
Okay. And the cost is very reasonable, and they can discuss that with you, but it's not covered by insurance, but that's okay because it's not a huge cost.
No, and I can't give you the exact cost because I'm hoping at the presentation to get a feel for how many people might want to, engage in this program. And maybe we might even just start out with it just in one location and people could go try it for a while and see if they like it. But the cost is under $50.
Yeah, so very worth it.
Yes.
Very worth it.
Yes.
And at the program, you'll have it up on the big screen so people can try it out.
Yes, and we'll go through the exercises and work on it with individuals there, and so they get a real good feel as to what it is and if they think it would be helpful. And if you were to follow the protocol based on the program, it takes about 4 to 6 weeks to go through the program with like a 20-minute session per day. But you can really gauge that to your own schedule and however often you want to work on it. But the protocol outlines a 4 to 6 week program of trying to get to the maximum level of difficulty.
Okay. Well, isn't it amazing? Medicine these days is not take 2 of these and call me in the morning, right? You can take control of your own health and do things to prevent, hopefully, some of the negative outcomes. And this is just another example of that. The L.A.C.E program will be very interesting. Once again, it will be presented on Wednesday, July 16th at 1:15 p.m. in the Social Center. I'm Mary Franklin along with Jack Adams. Make it a happy and healthy day.
Ann Chatfield has a group of friends that she doesn't have to try hard to hear at all. In fact, they rarely, if ever, speak, but instead are very good listeners. Ann is on the show today to share her love for her mini dolls.
I grew up in Westchester County, so I've lived most of my life there. My mother grew up on a farm. She was poor as a child. She had 7 brothers and sisters, and the doll that she might have gotten for Christmas had a china head, and she said usually by the end of Christmas Day the doll was broken. And so she really wanted to take good care of my dolls, and I don't think I would have my dolls today if it weren't for my mother. My first doll is here on the table behind me. I think it was Margaret O'Brien from 1946. I was only 2.5 years old when I received her. My mother, grew up in the early 1900s, and so she knew about Margaret O'Brien. I think she probably went to a lot of movies with Margaret O'Brien and Shirley Temple, and so she was thrilled to give me that doll. She gave me a doll every year when I was a child for birthday and for Christmas, and that's how I accumulated the dolls. This doll is Betsy, and she's wearing her original clothes, but she also had a suitcase full of clothes, mostly made by my mother. My mother was great about sewing and crocheting, and she made many clothes for my dolls. I remember her working very late at night to sew the doll clothes. My favorite comic strip was Little Lulu, and this is Little Lulu. She has her own little purse, and I collected all the Little Lulu comic books. Over here we have Tony, and I had a lot of fun with Tony because Tony had hair that you could give a home permanent to. And I gave Tony so many home permanents that I had to buy her a new wig. I always wanted to be a teacher, so I would always pretend that I was the teacher, and my dolls and my teddy bears would be my students, and sometimes my friends in the apartment building would also be students, and if they answered the questions correctly, then they could move up 1 step on a flight of stairs. These are Ginny look-alike dolls. This is another Nancy Ann storybook doll, and behind her is a horseman doll. There are a few dolls in here that are quite old. There's Roy Rogers and Dale Evans. There's a campfire girl and a bluebird, because I was a campfire girl and a bluebird, and my mother dressed those dolls for me. I also enjoyed playing with paper dolls when I was a child, and I think my favorite paper dolls were movie stars, and my mother loved Grace Kelly, and I also liked Grace Kelly very much. And I think this is Jane Powell. This is my dollhouse that I received when I was about 3 years old. It was made by one of my father's customers who was an electrician, and so it has electric lights. There's a family that lives in the dollhouse. There are 2 dogs and a cat. There's a TV, there's a record player. I would go to the stores that sold wallpapers and ask for their discontinued books, and I would use that wallpaper to re-wallpaper the dollhouse. My mother was happy that it kept me occupied for so many hours. I think I probably stopped playing with the dolls and dressing them when I was in 4th or 5th grade, but the doll that I got that year was a doll that has the same name that I have. My real name is Annabelle, and Madame Alexander, who is the finest American doll maker, came out with a doll named Annabelle. And so she is the doll that is in the best condition because I didn't play with her. When my youngest daughter went to college, I think then I had a greater desire to add to my doll collection. And I also had friends at that point who wanted to give me a gift, and they knew I liked dolls, and so I received dolls as gifts. I was given this beautiful bride. She is Betty the Beautiful Bride. Betty the Beautiful Bride is from 1959. She had high-heeled shoes and a little corsage, and she came with a record by Bing Crosby. Many of them are handmade dolls with apple heads, and also corn husk dolls. There's also some American Indian dolls. These dolls over here are handmade. They're handmade by my husband's mother. And this is an interesting doll that could be used to tell the story of Little Red Riding Hood, because she looks like her. And she's young, and then you could also have Granny, who's old. We became parents to 3 children, Cuban orphans and refugees, 13, 12, and 10 years of age. And I wanted to be able to stay home and to be a full-time mother. Private tutoring was a good option for me, and so I started out teaching math and reading to American children, but then I also began teaching some Japanese children who were just in the United States temporarily, and the parents wanted them to learn English while they were here. The mother kept saying she wanted me to come to Japan, and she gave me books about sightseeing in Japan, the most wonderful travel experience that I've ever had. In Japanese we'd say subarashi, 13 subarashi days of travel for us in Japan, half in hotels and half staying with Japanese families. I'm dressed now in a yukata, which is an informal kimono. Today, many dolls are made out of wood. It's a traditional way of making Japanese dolls, and they're called kokeshi dolls. The top shelf are kokeshi dolls. Many of them are handmade by the mothers of my students. At the bottom are pairs of dolls representing the Emperor and the Empress of Japan. In homes where there are girls, they may set up a large ladder-like structure with many steps and display a collection of very valuable dolls. The top shelf will have the Emperor and the Empress, and then the other shelves have the members of the imperial family and their attendants. There's also little dishes of food on the shelves, and miniature furniture, and cherry and orange blossoms or peach blossoms. And the girls invite their friends to come and to have refreshments and to admire the dolls. And then we started to do some travel when my husband and I married, and went to some foreign countries, and then I was able to collect souvenir dolls from those different countries. These dolls from Sweden are very old. There's also a gaucho from South America. And there's a coronation coach for Queen Elizabeth when she became queen, dolls from Asia. And the next shelf is a mixture of dolls. The one in the center is from Germany. The dolls on the next shelf, most of them are from Cuba. As I said, our children were from Cuba. Dolls from Russia. And these are dolls from Wales and dolls from Croatia. These dolls are from Zambia and Zimbabwe. Our daughter is living in Zimbabwe now with her German husband. And these dolls are from different countries. The ones in the front are Amish dolls with no faces. These dolls are Swedish dolls. Both my great-grandmothers were Swedish. And these dolls are German, mostly from the Black Forest. When we first saw this apartment here at Sundial, I guess I thought this lanai in the front of the apartment would be a great room for the dolls, and my husband agreed. And so we decided to enclose it with glass to preserve the dolls.
And what does he think of all this?
He's very supportive. I'm so thankful.
If you have a collection of interesting items, or if you know of a Shell Point neighbor who does, We want to hear about it. Please let us know at ShellPoint TV. You can call us at 489-8431. Now it's time to cover all of today's happenings, Academy news, menus, and Village Church connections.
Hello everyone, thank you for tuning in with the Happening segment of ShellPoint TV. My name is Leslie Brand and I'm here with Bev Chanley, and we are here to go over all the fun and great activities going on for today. We're going to start at 8:45 with Lilly & Company Jewelers will be here for their weekly jewelry service in the Resident Activity Center. 9 o'clock, Jurassic Travel will meet in the egret room. Also at 9 o'clock is the round robin doubles tennis at the tennis courts. 9 o'clock, watercolor group with Phil Hilton in the art studio. 9:15, card making and scrapbooking group will meet in the tarpon room. 10 o'clock, ladies Bible study will be in the Osprey room. 10:15, iPad free walk-in clinic will meet at the Computer Teaching Center on the island. It will be going on until 11:45. 10:15, Model Yacht Sailing Club will be at the Commons Lake at the Woodlands. 11:30, Health Connection, Specifics and Cardio Conditioning will be in the Health Club on the island. That class is currently full. Now here's Bev for the afternoon activities.
Thanks, Leslie. At 1 o'clock, there'll be chess being played in the library lounge down on the island. 1:45 is the time for Health Connection Class Balance and Mobility Training Level 1 in the Health Club. That's currently full. We're going to move to 3 o'clock for Bible study in the King's Crown Community Room. Also at 3 o'clock, we have a Health Connections class. This one is Pilates Stretch. That'll be in the Health Club. Another 3 o'clock activity today is the Memory Care Group. Will be in the Behavioral Health and Medical Center. You do need to sign up for that. At 3:30, we have a Health Connections Aqua Agility and Conditioning class. That'll be at the Life Quest Aquatic Center. Then we move to 4:30 for Indoor Bocce. That's in the Health Club. We're going to round out the day with 7:15 Prayer and Praise. That'll be in the Social Center on the island. Well, we hope you have a great day today, and we will see you back here tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Terry Kolath with your Academy information for Wednesday. At 8:30, court pickup begins on the island for Academy on the Go educational field trip. Celebrate the new library. Sign up is required. At 10:15, our free iPad clinic continues on Wednesday mornings in the Teaching Center in the tunnel on the island. And at 1 o'clock, so you've got Windows 8. Now, what are you going to do with it? We'll wrap up in the Computer Center at the Woodlands. At 1:45, Flash Drive Prep School begins in the Teaching Center in the tunnel on the island. Sign up at either service desk. And then at 2:30, we start Sing, Sing, Sing. Bring your voice to the Grand Cypress Room. I'd like to tell you about a new class coming tomorrow. It is the power of right-clicking in the Teaching Center in the tunnel on the island. Sign up is required.
Menus for Wednesday. In the Crystal Room, the Crystal Platter is burgundy beef tips over egg noodles with seasoned lima beans. The dinner special is the pasta buffet for $12.95, and the soup of the day is pasta fagioli. In the Island Cafe for lunch, the special is a mile-high hot corned beef sandwich with coleslaw for $7.25. The dinner special is grilled shrimp for $8.25. Dinner specials in the Palm Grill are Florida grouper for $19.95 or ribeye for $16.95. All menus are available 24 hours a day at www.shellpoint.net.
Hi, I'm Randy Woods, and I'm here today with Glenda Stephenson, our church administrator, and Glenda's been overseeing the project of Renew and Refresh. As you know, the renovation project at the church is going on. It's been 2 months now since they started May 1st. Here it is, early July. Tell us, Glenda, how are we coming along with the project of the renovation?
Well, I know folks have really appreciated the updates and the pictures because it gives them a little glimpse of what's going on. This morning in particular, we had lots of noise.
Yes, it was very noisy this morning. The beeping, the sawing, the hammering.
Yeah, they've been reinforcing that back wall on the back of the stage, and so putting some new framing up there, metal framing, cutting that. And so we've had lots of noise this morning, which lets us know that work is in progress, and that's comforting. So much of what's taken place thus far has been harder for us to see because it's been up in the wiring above the ceiling, and it's been the mechanicals of all of this. But 2 months into it now, some of that is beginning to come together. It won't be long, and we'll actually be seeing new light fixtures go in the auditorium, and that will be exciting.
Yeah, it is interesting because I hear the noise and I look out and I can't see that anything's happening. Yeah. And the guys work so hard, and I was talking with Jim, the electricians, and I said, I hadn't seen you all day. He's been crawling around up on the scaffolding, fixing the wiring, and I know you're working, but I can't see anything yet. And it's that infrastructure, the mechanics of the project that takes so much time.
Which is critical, and that is the first step in all of this, is to get that done, because obviously before we start painting and laying carpet and doing all of the cosmetic things, we want that infrastructure done.
So the back wall is being strengthened so as to support what we're calling sound diffuser boxes. And that will be a nice wooden panel that will go on the back wall of the stage. Of course, the stage floor is being updated and changed.
Right, that will be totally new. And that'll be nice.
And they've done some pretty significant cutting in the concrete to provide conduit for electrical support for new outlets around the perimeter of the sanctuary. And that's going to be really helpful just for the various programs that we have, that there are more electric outlets available to support.
Right. We've been very deficient in that regard, and it's hard even to plug coffee pots in the auditorium if you want to do that. So this will be very helpful. They've actually done some wiring for some sconces on the sidewalls as well, and had to channel through concrete for that. So we are seeing some progress in those ways. Once they get through with this stage, the progress that's visible will be much more dramatic.
Yes.
And we're looking forward to that.
Yeah, we look forward to having the project complete, but rest assured we appreciate your support and just the flexibility with all the programming and changes that we're doing. But continue to pray for Renew and Refresh, that as a church, as the building is done, as a church, as a community, we will continue to know God's provision for the workers and this whole project as it comes together to completion.
We're about at $975,000 of the $1 million goal.
Wow.
And we're so grateful for that. We're grateful for the way our people have accommodated all the transition with all of this. They've just been wonderful.
They really have. Well, thanks for your leadership and just coordinating the details. So keep praying, and we'll look forward to another report. And it won't be long. We'll see some pictures of things that really look pretty and not just so mechanical.
Exactly.
Well, thanks again. You have a great day, and we'll look forward to having this project complete in the near future.
We're glad you joined us for today's show. Tune in tomorrow when we'll take a look back on the fun and festivities of the 4th of July Jamboree from last Friday. We'll also hear from employee chaplain Don Stainhook, who will preview yet another of his popular presentations on beautiful science. Until then, this is Shell Point Today for Wednesday, July 9th. I'm Adam Brown, and for all of us here at Shell Point TV, we hope you have a great day, and we'll see you again tomorrow.